everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and this particular video is going to be our part 2 thoughts and pretty much our thoughts and overall overview and wrap-up and review of Sony's E3 presentation for 2017. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse One.
In the previous video, we went ahead and we broke down particular games and particular gameplay sections and things that they went ahead and they covered within their E3 2017 presentation. With this particular one here, right here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up our thoughts about the presentation overall, our particular grade or review of it, whether or not we liked it, whether or not we disliked it, and just generally some of the things that we think, okay, if we had a chance to go ahead and change a certain thing or another thing, maybe this is what we'd go ahead and change about the E3 2017 presentation. All right. I usually don't start off, but I'm going to start off like this. Am I the only person who got the vibe that Sony was just kind of going through the motions there? Like it was like throughout the whole of the presentation. Now, granted, there was a lot of really cool stuff that we saw, but it kind of felt that there wasn't really any real enthusiasm, that they were just kind of going through the motions and like, we know it's the biggest show of the year. We've got a lot of stuff to show you. Yes, by the way, we still have VR, and we still have over 60 million PlayStation 4 consoles sold worldwide. We're still #1. So go ahead and look at this trailer for something that you're not even going to see this fucking year. And guess what? We know you saw it in E3 2015 and E3 2016. All right? Yeah. Was I the only one who got that impression?
Oh, God. Where do we begin just following that? I mean, look, Sony, okay, this is my opinion here. They had a good conference, but they didn't have a good showing. The main reason why I say that is because the conference of E3 is supposed to be primarily about the games. They didn't have hardly anyone talking on that stage. They didn't have someone coming up and say, "Hey guys, how you doing?" and insulting the audience. And the audience is like, "Yeah, okay, now show us the games." Every year it's like that. We don't need to know what the fuck or how are we doing, whatever. Just show us the fucking games. Sony did that. They showed a barrage of games, but they spent time on VR. They spent time on things that, as the Reverend said, they showed in 2016. And that was basically their conference for the most part.
I think, generally speaking, the fact that they showed certain things in 2016, all right, probably showing off things that were shown off in previous years and other stuff like that, that really doesn't bug me that much, especially when considering the amount of time that goes into the development process and everything else, and also for the fact that that happens every E3. Okay, that's happened every E3 since the second year of E3. Okay,
yeah,
literally. All right, but I think
whole conference.
I think, well, this is where the caveat comes in. All right, the thing about it though is that it's very hard. When I was watching the presentation, and I was going through it, and I was, I had my ear to the ground, and I was, like, making my notes and everything. There just seemed to be something off about the presentation, all right? And I didn't understand it. I couldn't put my finger on it, and I couldn't define what was bugging me about the presentation until I started, I went ahead and I saw a few other reaction videos and a few other, more prominent YouTubers out there, give their thoughts on it. And then it started coming together and clicking, and was like, yeah, that's just, it just seemed like they were going through the motions, and they were, I don't want to sit there and say that it was, it felt really phoned in. It was like, okay, we really don't have to worry about, covering a whole lot of new ground. Maybe they're at the point where they think that the lead over the rest of the competition is so huge that they don't have to worry about relinquishing that anytime soon, which they're probably right. But I mean, it was just one of those things where I was just, yeah, as far as like E3 goes, this was a presentation where I saw a lot of cool things. I didn't walk away hyped about anything, though.
Right.
What about you, Grey Mouse? What did you think about it?
I think Sony has gotten to a point to where they're complacent. They're satisfied that they're in the lead. There's no way any of the competition can catch up to them. And I felt that, kind of like the same thing that you guys said, lackluster presentation. Not presentation, that's a bad word. Lackluster enthusiasm. It just seems like, the guy was up there just standing. Yeah, he did mention, we got 60 million PlayStations in the world. Yay us. And stuff like that. And there's no enthusiasm at all throughout the whole conference.
Well,
now,
they on stage twice.
They opened up with the music for what is it? Uncharted. I think that was the first game that we saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to me, I think that took way too fucking long. I don't care if sitting on that thing playing the violin and all. No, just show us the games. I don't want to see all that shit. Don't get me wrong. That was a nice presentation with the waterfall and the images or the sand or whatever it was, and the images flashed on it. I like that. The presentation was great. But the conference as a whole, I felt like it was lackluster. And like you said, they were just up there going through the motions like, hey, look, we're Sony. We're great. Love us.
I mean, if we're going to sit there and we're going to walk away from some of these presentations with let's say, a few hard lessons, a few hard points of information that we can go ahead and glimmer. All right. I guess the hard points of information is that as far as everything that we are expecting for the rest of 2017, guess what? Whatever they announced, even before E3, even before the beginning of 2017, that's all that's left for as far as what you can be concerned with for 2017, which at some point, a little glad of, because the thing is that 2017 has been really, really busy. And there's a lot of fucking games that have been, burning a hole through my wallet. All right. Let's just go ahead and be honest about that. So that's one thing. Okay. They didn't sit there. They didn't have anything really brand new in their back pocket to go ahead and wow everybody. I don't know if that's something.
See, that's the thing. It's not like it's not like what they announced wasn't cool. Or didn't even give a presentation off. It was just the fact that it was the shit that we already fucking knew.
Yeah, we already knew. All right. Okay,
or that we've already seen some footage of before.
Yeah, and I mean it's not like brand new footage of Kratos having fatherly moments with his kid and everything. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Watching Spider-Man save a group of people from a falling helicopter. All right, that was kind of interesting too. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll give that up. But it was just one of those things where, like I said, if we're taking away like the hard lessons or the hard pieces of information that we can go ahead and go into the future with. All right, Sony mentioned nothing about the Vita. All right, mentioned nothing about any sort of portable systems at all. Didn't even mention fucking crossplay or anything like that. Which that's one thing I'm gonna get to. Okay. So nothing about crossplay. So they've got no new services either. Okay. So there wasn't anything new for the PS4 Pro, or there wasn't any brand new services they wanted to go ahead and pimp out. Okay. Which, granted, yeah, I know a lot of times if we did see them try to pimp out a new service, we'd probably be making fun of that too, but they didn't have that though. They still have an invested interest in VR. Okay. Which, God bless him, I guess. But until there's that killer game that everybody wants, everybody's going to sit there and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be running around with a $500 rave kit that makes me look like an unemployed welder, at a fucking house party, Pretty much, yeah. Fucking glow sticks and bad headwear on,
Oh, Lord. I've never thought about it that way till now. Damn.
But, yeah, so, yeah, it's just, I couldn't put my finger on it, but yeah, this is just like and it's funny because it's kind of I wouldn't have imagined saying this about Sony after E3, especially considering the presentation that they had last year was good. Granted, it wasn't as earth-shattering as the 2015 presentation, but 2016 was pretty good, right? 2015 was like fucking earth-shattering. Okay, as far as a lot of stuff they were showing off there.
See, that was the thing about 2015. They covered all the bases that they needed to do. This E3 2017, they just didn't answer the call.
Well, what's interesting is that I felt that this year that nobody, specifically Microsoft, gave them any ammo. As in anything to mark or to make fun of Microsoft, and I guess they're out of material. No, I'm just anyway.
Well, yeah, that's actually kind of funny. Yeah, they didn't have anything to.
I mean,
yeah.
Am I speaking the truth though?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like there was anything that they could openly go out of their way and poke fun at Microsoft.
No,
I mean,
they had nothing here. But like the theme said earlier, I'm not too much of a fan of not having some body coming up on the stage and talking to me. I'm more of a interaction type of person. I like watching the video games or the trailers and all, but I also don't mind somebody coming on the stage or the developer coming up on the stage and talking about their game. I don't have a problem with that. But to review the thing that the theme was saying, yeah, he only came on the stage twice, but every game that was shown in between those guys coming out, that guy coming out, was every game that we've already knew existed. So it's kind of null and void. It might as well have nobody out. Might as well have somebody standing on the stage the whole time. It was nothing earth-shattering, nothing, we knew everything that they were going to show. And you're sitting there, I was watching the conference, I was sitting there scratching my head. It's like, okay, this next one, they've got to come up with something. This next one, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
Even though they showed a Monster Hunter, it's not enough. Days Gone, they showed more of it, not enough. Detroit, that's not enough.
Monster Hunter, we knew about that. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't nothing new. Zilch, except for the VR games. Those were new. And I'm sorry. Okay. Undertale was new, but that wasn't shown on the conference. And Bubsy was new, and that wasn't shown at the conference. And somehow Microsoft completely dodged that bullet. It's PlayStation 4. It's on there and the Steam. I don't know how. Whatever. Okay, but I just felt that Sony. And the thing is, though, I felt like Sony is, like I said at the beginning, they're so complacent. They got so used to being ahead of the competition that it's like, okay, we could fumble some things. It's not because there's just no enthusiasm at all. Even the crowd, when they were paying the crowd, everybody was like,
no, they were just waiting.
Or on their cell phones.
They were just waiting patiently.
And I was like, there is no enthusiasm in the crowd. There's no energy from the crowd. There's no energy from the trailers. Am I wrong in thinking this? Am I the only one?
The crowd was patiently waiting for something to really, really mark out about. And the biggest mark out was for when they showed Kratos. Period. That was the biggest reaction that Sony got on their conference, is when they showed Kratos. And then that even dragged out for a while.
Yeah. And that wasn't gameplay. That was all cinematics. When they showed all of that. Well, there was a few QT like boss finishing sections and stuff like that, but it was mostly all cinematics. I think the only thing I would sit there and say is that, okay, maybe maybe the upside is the fact that Sony already has this year pretty much packed anyways. All right. As far as AAA exclusive goes for their console, just in the first half alone, you've had stuff like Gravity Rush 2, Tales of Berseria, Yakuza 0, Neo, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, and Persona 5. Okay, so yeah, the front end has been loaded pretty heavy. And that doesn't even include like all of the any sort of indie games or other B level titles. All right, for the rest of the year, it looks like there are other things that are coming out, like the Velvet Room. Let's see here, Dragon Quest Heroes 2, Ni no Kuni 2, Death's Gambit, Hellblade, Next Machina, Pyre, and Uncharted Lost Legacy. So they've got a pretty busy year, all right?
But the point is, they should have announced certain new things. Even if they were not AAA titles, they should have just announced something new or even something funny on their stage in order to get that crowd livened up.
They showed 0 ID games. 0. Nothing. Not even
independent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was really surprised about that.
I would have really loved to see more Death Stranding. I know it ahead of time they already said that there's not going to be anything about that.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the type of things you needed on that stage. For whatever reason, I guess Kojima just wasn't ready to show anything. They should have showed a still of something. I was like, or it just, no Death Stranding, no Last of Us 2, and they had a heavy hitting first of the year. That is
kind of like
100% right.
It was kind of like Sony wasn't prepared because all the games that they were going to show on their stage were shown at other conferences. It's like the Bethesda was like, no, you can't have anything on your stage. We're going to keep it on ours. Ubisoft was like, no, we're going to announce all this on our stage.
Maybe that hurt them. I mean, that's right. I did feel that Sony was not prepared for this E3. It just seemed. I mean, it's like Sony realized that a book report was due at 8:00 in the morning. And it's 10 o'clock at night the previous day. Oh shit, we got to throw something together.
I've done that before.
I felt like they just read the insert. You know how you got your book and you got the insert on the left and the right. I felt that's the way they did it.
That's our fault in a sense because of how how Sony was hyped up for the last couple of years because of the presentations.
Agreed.
So, yeah. But at the same time, you can't make any excuses as far as saying, why didn't you show anything fucking really, really new? A montage of new shit, independent shit, something.
We know you could do it. You've proven that.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that, that they could have done. But I got to say that, like I said, it wasn't something that made itself really obvious to me, at least, when I was watching the E3 presentation. Okay, when I finally got down to it and I was able to put my finger on it, it just seemed very lackluster. It was just like, I understand. Like I said, I understand. There's already a lot of the majority of the offerings that are out there. Guess what? Most likely they're going to be on the Sony platform. All right, so. It not showing.
That's the thing about it. Most of the time, even in the conference, they're like, okay, we have this exclusive content on our console. They didn't even have that this year.
Well, they mentioned that for COD. Yeah, okay. They mentioned that for COD. All right.
Okay.
But
Zero Dawn. Well, actually, that's not a multiplat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but usually for multi-plat games, they will announce something as far as saying, yeah, we have this content only on PlayStation or first on PlayStation, at least something like that. They didn't even have that this year.
They did. Yeah. Destiny 2 and COD.
Yeah, they had it, but they didn't have enough of that, and that's what's so funny about it.
I think the thing that kind of that made itself, glaringly obvious, though, at the end of everything like I said, it was the fact that it wasn't the fact that they didn't have, like, I think, no, I'm going to say it right now. It's the fact that they didn't have anything surprising. There was nothing surprising about this presentation at all. Yeah. Okay. And then when everybody sat there and got done with the presentation, they're like, wow, there is, unlike the other presentations that have happened up until that point from the other third-party developers, even Microsoft, people were like, wow, hey, there's something I have to look forward to in about a month or two. All right. That
even Microsoft, that makes it seem like that it wasn't even possible for them to even do it.
Well, is he lying though? I mean,
the
OG thing, that was a complete surprise to people. They weren't expecting that.
I mean, like I said, even in comparison to their other competitors and stuff like that, they didn't have anything to sit there and say, oh wow, there's something that I can be really excited about that's coming out like in a month or two. At least not based off of what they showed us. And I think that really did hurt their presentation.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
All the games that we listed and we talked about in this conversation, every one of those games, I think the Reverend and I was looking at it. All that's going to be released next year.
Yeah, except for Uncharted. Except for the Uncharted game.
Yeah, except for the multiplats, the Destiny and the KOD.
Yeah,
most part.
Everything that we mentioned in the previous video that we did before this one, everything that we mentioned and everything that we talked about, all of those are going to be released in 2018. Okay, except for the Uncharted. What was it, Lost Legacy or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So, but again, everybody knew that was coming out anyway. So. It's just really weird.
It's not really a problem that everything's coming out next year, because that's what E3s are for. E3s are basically to show the games that are coming out later
in the future. Yeah,
so
in the future.
I understand that, so you can't really fault them too much. But the problem is that every other conference, we're talking about all their competition, even the third-party competition, they have games coming out this year. Most of the games that they show is coming out this year. Sony, I don't really think they were prepared for 2017 E3, and it just shows. It blatantly shows.
And look, I don't want anybody else to say out there, look, we're talking about E3, okay? E3. We're not talking about the Sony freaking experience. We're not talking about the Tokyo Game Show. Oh, just wait for the Tokyo Game Show. Just wait for Sony experience. No. We're talking about E3 here and their freaking presentation of E3, the biggest expo of the year. Okay, and for anyone that may be saying, "Oh, yo, you guys are just against Sony," or "You guys are just against Sony. You don't appreciate Sony. You guys just don't know. You guys just fuck you. You don't know." Okay.
Fucking look at her channel, for Christ's sake. How many fucking Sony videos have we done and talked very positive? So don't give me that. See, you done got me fired up. No, we're not. No. We're not hating on Sony.
You will get those people out there that will accuse you of being a fanboy for something else, and they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. We're talking about the Sony conference. It just wasn't all that great. It wasn't great. It wasn't even good. It just passable for E3 as far as saying, here's some shit. Yeah, sorry we weren't prepared, but here's some shit that you already know about for the most part. Oh, and here's some VR shit that hardly anyone is interested in. Yeah, no Gran Turismo 7, no fucking last.
Oh, I didn't even.
No not a new Ace Combat.
I forgot about that. There was no. Yeah. Wow.
Here's the thing. All right, let's give our grade after I make this point. At this moment in time, I find it easier for me to pull out of from memory memorable moments from the Bethesda presentation. All right. And I have a lot more to sit there and say about the Bethesda presentation that would at least be humorous in comparison to the Sony presentation. Because with the Sony presentation, you know, look, they had technical issues with the sound right at the beginning. All right. But, you know, yeah, they didn't have any, like, cringe-worthy, you know, moments like with what happened with the YouTuber on the EA fucking stage. All right. That nothing as bad as that. Okay. You know, and nothing as bad as, you know, people sitting there pretending like they're playing fucking Minecraft on tablets, like, you know, what was on Microsoft stage last year. All right. That shit, you know, that was so insulting. It pissed me off. All right. But here's the thing. As far as memorable moments go for their particular presentation, they had trouble with sound at the beginning, and all the other shit I already knew was going to come out.
The special effects. I mean, they had that screen coming across the screen, and they had that water. I'm just saying.
Well, that didn't really have anything to do with gaming, really.
Yeah. So
fire other stage, man. Come on, guys, get hype. Get hype.
That's the biggest problem with this is that, you know, like I said, even Microsoft got me interested and curious about certain things. All right, it did not. Okay, I gotta say, if I was gonna give them a grade, okay, you know, and I'm not one of these fuckers who sit there and say, oh, you know, so and so won E3. All right, no, all right, but if I were to go ahead and give a grade to their presentation, you know. Yeah, I know I gave EA an A in my particular videos that I did with Grey Mouse and everything, but there were some things on there that, guess what? There were a lot more memorable moments within the EA presentation than the Sony one. All right,
that's some serious shit, man.
Yeah, you know, I'd have to give the Sony presentation a C-, especially considering the sort of commanding presence that they've had in E3 in the multiple years leading up to this. All right. They were there. It's passable. But wow, geez, like, you know, when you sit there and when you give me a presentation that gets me more and more concerned, the more I think about it, you know, yeah, that isn't a very successful presentation. That doesn't do a lot for me. Okay. Especially as somebody who has literally made being involved with video games his fucking life.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you guys? If you were to grade Sony's E3 2017 presentation,
do we have to? Yeah. Okay. Yes, we do. Okay. I'm gonna give it a C. It's just, man. The only reason why it's not given a C- is because, at least for me, my opinion, it just showed game. The presentation was on point. It's just that what they presented could have been a lot fucking better.
What about you, Grey Mouse? What were your thoughts? What was your grade if you're doing the side-end grade?
Oh my God. I give it about a D+, man. And the reason why I say that, the only thing that's keeping it from going to a D is the presentation. I mean, the presentation was as in, you know, all the graphics and all that stuff for the stage and all the pyrotechnics and all that stuff. But we've known that for Sony. Sony does that all the time. But I could boost it up to a C-, to be honest. I'm kind of with you. It just seemed like, you know, one, their lackluster enthusiasm. It was obvious that the crowd was not in it at all. There was nothing new that was shown. Yeah, that guy walked out twice. And then when he did walk out, I felt like I was going to sleep. He's like, yeah, we're Sony. We're badass. We got 60 million, this, and this. And like, okay, here's some games. Enjoy. And then all the games that they showed was games we've already known about for 2 years at most, you know? So that's why I give it a C-. But I could probably be talked into giving it a D+. But I think this is one of the worst Sony showings in a while, especially after how well they've been going for since this generation, since 2013. I mean, they've been hitting it out of the park each year. And, you know, you can kind of blame others for that, but I'm not going to go into that. But, yeah, it just seems like, you know, you question yourself. And the more I think about it, the worse I think I feel about this presentation, knowing that Sony could do better. It just seems like these guys, you know, like I said, that analogy about the book report that was due the next day. And I just felt it was just thrown together, patchwork together. Like, here's the presentation, accept it, love us, buy more of our consoles. Oh, by the way, buy the VR. We got a lot of VR games. VR. But, yeah, so I definitely, that's just my feeling about the Sony presentation.
So they're not going to be held back for another year. Is that what you're saying, right? They're not going to have to go to summer school.
I think, yeah, they just passed.
They just scraped by.
Did you think that we held, like the theme was saying, do you think we actually held them too high, praised them too much in the last 3-4 years, that they felt that they could put forth this effort?
Here's the thing, all right?
Or this kind of effort, rather.
You know, while we were setting up to go ahead and do this video, all right, and during the video I was looking for like a definitive list of the number of exclusives coming to the PlayStation 4 for 2017, all right? The total number of exclusives for the PlayStation 4 for 2017 is over 54 fucking titles, okay? We are only halfway through the year, all right? If they decided to go ahead and if that would have meant, just by doing a math, you know, rough math here, that leaves like almost 30 fucking titles altogether, okay, that were exclusive to their platform that they could have went ahead and mentioned, okay? Even put together a small montage like with what Microsoft did with their independent games montage and everything like that, okay? But they didn't go out of their way to do that, all right? What they did do, what was obviously more important to Sony was that it was obviously more important for them to go out of their way and beg the gaming community to give VR a second chance.
That's what it felt like. Absolutely, that's perfect analogy right there. Begging the community to buy their $400 headset with the $200 peripherals.
Yep.
And what would you call it? A rage?
Yeah, so they look like unemployed welders at a rave, you know, with fucking light sticks. Okay?
Oh. Damn. It's funny because so much stuff has been pushed for the VR for the last couple of years, but it has not gotten any traction because there's no killer app.
But the thing is, though, we've been talking about this for 2 years on our channel, or however long our channel's been, and I hate to use these words, but we told you so. There's just the thing said, there is no killer app for VR. And that is killing them.
Think about this. If Resident Evil 7 would have been only for VR, and it would have been great, it probably wouldn't have sold the VR, but at least it could have been a weapon.
Yeah, but the thing about that is that there was no fucking way Capcom was going to sit there and say that it was going to be a dedicated VR thing.
But I'll
no way.
That game as an example, but I do agree with you 100%.
Unless Sony throws a whole shitload of money that
they need to go. Okay, they tried that. All those games with VR that they announced, are any of them multi-plats?
Skyrim, Fallout 4, yeah. You know, the thing is, they just want new modes VR. Built into them. Yeah.
No. All that's Sony. All that is Sony VR exclusive.
Because that's like Resident Evil 7 was a Sony VR exclusive.
No.
Was that on VR anywhere else?
No, it wasn't. There wasn't any VR anywhere else. Yeah.
Not just the game. No, the game was on the Xbox One and PC.
Yeah, but see, though, yeah, I get your point. You're absolutely right, and I withdraw what I
Because
said.
people played that on VR and they're like, "Wow, this is actually fucking good on VR."
I don't see the HTC drop. No, doesn't
Right.
have that. Neither does the Oculus Rift. They don't. No, they don't have that. I mean,
No,
correct me if
the
I'm
Steam
wrong.
version, the Steam version does not have a VR mode for
So no.
either of those. So yeah, but the thing about it is that here's the thing: it's the same issue that we've got going on with Microsoft. Whenever we start mentioning games for the Xbox One X and also for Windows 10, is that guess what? These are games that are available in other forms, and if people have already played them, is that really going to be a huge incentive for them to go ahead and push another mode out?
No,
Look, Skyrim is 8 years old. Doom is over 2 years old. And what's that other one?
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4.
Fallout
Yeah.
4 is 4 years old. I'm just saying, there's other formats. If it only went to VR, those are
That's what
weapons.
I was talking about.
Those are weapons at that particular point. But that's not happening. There's other formats and other multi-plat.
Because the thing about it is you can't sell it like, oh, you should really play the VR mode. I don't have a fucking VR. That shit's too fucking expensive. I'm not going to get that just for an extra. No, I'm not going to do that.
See, I got those games over here and over here. So I don't need to play that shit in VR. I'm sorry.
Not only that, but by this time you've already played them. Okay, and a lot of people have already played
those games. Are already out, and I don't need a RoboCop visor to enjoy more games.
Well, yeah, but let's just go ahead and wrap this up because we got like 2 minutes left. All right. Overall, Sony, the big part of E3, not the most impressive part by far. Actually, even in comparison to Bethesda, in my view, probably the least impressive part of E3 altogether. Which is sad because they've got such a huge commanding presence in E3. All right, and I think we all share the same sentiment that they could have done better. Okay, doesn't mean that we're going to stop playing their fucking games. None of us are throwing away our PS4s. All right, none of us are signing off of Sony. No, we still got our PS4s and we're still going to play the games. All right, but as far as E3 presentation goes, not their best. Okay, all right. What we really want to know, folks, is what did you think about Sony's presentation, and if you've stayed all the way through part 1 and part 2 of the videos that we have, what are your thoughts on our review, our feedback on it? Are we full of shit? We'd like to know. You can let us know by leaving a comment below. While you're at it, hit like, hit subscribe, and if you really like what we do around here, we encourage you to subscribe. Okay. With that, our thoughts on Sony's PlayStation E3 2017 presentation ends right here. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.
Thank you for your cooperation.
You forgot the credit card slot.
Oh, no.